Hey, it's Babu with Mortgage Scout, and on this next video, what I wanted to do was to have you guys exposed to the closing costs. So one of the ways that you can actually use the mortgage app that we have is to try and figure out what the estimated closing costs will be. Now, keep in mind, this actually covers quite a bit more than what the lenders actually ask for, because usually when you're purchasing a property, the lenders will ask you to show confirmation of at least 1.5% of the closing costs. And this tends to be slightly more because it does take a few of the factors that the lenders aren't necessarily too concerned about in terms, for example, like moving costs. They don't really concern themselves too much about that. So the land transfer tax is one of the options. For example, let's say you're looking at a home that might be in the price range of $600,000. Now, the land transfer tax, you can actually click on it and have it go a little more into detail. And it'll tell you based on where you're looking to purchase. If it's in Toronto, it'll actually add that extra amount down here. If not, if you are not purchasing in Toronto, it'll remove that amount and just show you what the actual taxes are within that region for that price point. And then also on top of that, show you if there is a first time home buyer rebate and how much that would entitle you to. And you can actually toggle that on and off over here. And if you are a non-resident as well, then obviously the non-resident speculation tax you can pretty much add on and remove as well. And it gives you little notifications as well if there's any conflicting info that pops up. The taxes as well. Usually the taxes are something that you should keep in mind, especially when you are purchasing the property. So this is for the mortgage default insurance. So CMHC now, which is called Sagen, which was Genworth. Or Canada Guarantee. Those are the three insurers that you would be working with, one of those three. And that's the mortgage default insurance companies. And this is how much taxes would be owed based on if there is any default insurance that you're having to pay. For example, if you're putting less than 20% down, that's when you would have to pay the default insurance. And this is just calculating what the taxes are on that amount that you're having to pay, because usually the actual amount that you're having to pay for the default insurance is rolled into the mortgage itself. So this amount, the taxes, can't be rolled into the actual mortgage. So you're just paying that separately at closing. So you need to make sure you have those extra funds set aside. The appraisal itself, about $400, usually $300 to $500, depending on what the lender asks for. And there are some other alternatives as well, with certain lenders being able to bring down that cost as well. You can actually toggle that and change the amount as well if you need to. Home inspection as well, you can do the same thing based on what it is that you've actually paid to get an idea of how much the overall cost would be. And when you're looking at moving costs, you can also do your research, put in the amount of what to expect. And final adjustments is pretty much just any small adjustments that your lawyer finds out from, for example, the seller, if they prepaid some taxes on the property itself, or if there's anything else that you need to pay to be able to finalize the whole transaction itself. So these would be included in the final adjustments, and your lawyer will let you know about these. And legal fees, of course, are included there. And depending on the lender you go with and the complexity of the file and all the details that are involved, the legal fees can vary. And that's definitely something that you will be finding out, of course, from the lawyer that you speak to. And then that will be incorporated as part of the closing costs when it comes here. And you can see at the top, it tells you exactly overall what you can expect in terms of closing costs for a $600,000 property. And that's the 14,845, and what percentage it is. So it is actually over the 1.5%, but keep in mind it does include the final adjustments, the moving costs, and the home inspection and everything too. So the lenders usually, they don't ask for all of that. They usually just want that 1.5%, and they're happy with that. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to try out this app, especially if you're in the process of purchasing a home. And if you have any questions about the closing costs, or if you're thinking about how it'll affect you in terms of how much extra funds you need to have set aside. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.